up, RotoGrinders? Happy Wednesday. 2 hours nonstop NBA DFS conversation starts right now, taking you all up the lock. 7 o'clock on the East Coast. Both sites, same exact setup as far as the games. DK is including the late games on the West Coast. There's actually 3 of them. We have kind of a break in the slate, right? I believe it's 5 early, 3 late, 8 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock. There's 5 games in that window, and then we have a 2-hour break. And we include the Rockets, the Warriors, as well as the Spurs and the Blazers, and the Suns and the Kings. It is, once again, Cup night. It is Cup week. There were Cup games last week. There's a Cup game. NBA start tomorrow, obviously, for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, all. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time. Enjoy the pie. Enjoy the football and the family and all that good stuff. But then back at it Friday. More Cup stuff. Some important matchups. Some teams, incentivized to win. Some teams incentivized to win big. I don't know if what you caught yesterday, Tim, was as far as Washington, but I guess Washington was going for point differential, even though they already had 2 losses. Like they couldn't. I don't know what they were doing, but or maybe they just wanted TJ McCollum to score 50, but they kept their guys out there a long time. The Wizards. Shout out to Kyle. Kyle talked about TJ McCollum on Crunch Time yesterday. Basketball's been tough. They're talking about in the chat. It's been. You get humbled really quickly. Even if you have a good night in basketball, like the Derek Queen situation, I'm sure we'll talk about getting benched for Yves Missi. Not just Queen, but Fears. Both rookies got benched last time out for the Pels. Grand Theft Alvarado started the second half as well as Yves Missi. Nobody plays tomorrow, right? So these are all island games. Nobody played yesterday. Every Cup game is, they're not back-to-backs. Not the back end of a back-to-back. I think somewhere on the front end. But today, nobody that played yesterday is playing today. And, of course, again, nobody playing tomorrow. We are waiting for Giannis. Giannis Antetokounmpo is officially questionable. I think Vegas is telling us he's not playing, Tim. I think that line's a little bit too big if he was playing. So I feel like they're telling us he's not playing. However, both those teams are incentivized to win, Miami and Milwaukee. We just got Miami stuff as far as their injuries. Hero officially, and they're as healthy as they've been the entire season. Jaime Jaquez is good to go. Jovic is good to go. Norman Powell, he's got that groin. He's probable as well. I'm telling you right now, man. I'm a Miami guy. They are going to be the hardest team to predict as far as minutes because they have too many guys. They have too many guys right now, Tim. We'll talk about it. The rise of Kel'el Ware. Superman has been awesome. He's been playing like legit Superman. He's going to the next level. His rebounding has been absurd. But it's just trying to find the minutes for Miami is really, really difficult. They're a deep team, and I don't really know how the minutes are going to get spliced up with Hero being back and everybody basically being available with the exception of, Terry Rozier, which probably never going to play. I'm going to boldly say he's never going to play again for maybe anybody in the NBA. Certainly not Miami. Tim, happy Wednesday. How are things?
Happy Wednesday, Dino. Always nice to do these Wednesday. And I guess I've been doing Fridays with you also. Wednesday and Fridays with Dean. It's been awesome. Last night's NBA slate was pretty interesting. I did not have CJ McCollum on my single entry team. I had Suggs on my single entry team who got ejected. I think it was at the half, right? At the end of the second quarter, I think. And I figured I was dead. And I woke up this morning with more money in my DK account than I had, And I was like, how did that happen? And I was like, well, Luka went for 81 DraftKings points, and that got me across the threshold somehow. And I ended up min cashing. I actually did a little bit better than min cashing in some spots. So it ended up being a profitable slate, despite the fact that I did not play CJ McCollum. And did
you play Corey Kispert? Because Kispert, we kind of talked about. We're like, he's bad chalk, and he put up like 40 points in the first half. He got hurt. He didn't come back, but he already did his damage.
Yesterday was like a super, super, super weird slate, and I did for whatever reason I did play Kispert, and that did work
out. Derek in chat, what's up, chat? Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. We appreciate all the goods. Derek says he finished 15 with freaking Whitmore. Yeah, Whitmore was bad.
I did not have Whitmore. I didn't have Whitmore either on my team.
We talked about Washington having players out, but they still dressed like 15 or so. But yeah, some of those Wizards were really, really good yesterday. They absolutely thrashed Do want to mention, by the way, going to give away. Oh, Steve's jumping in here. What's up, Steve?
I just wanted to point out to our loyal viewer, J3, he told us Cam Whitmore was out with his rapper girlfriend, remember?
That's right.
J3 said, I don't know.
What was her name again? It was like 3 letters, but it wasn't like MIA with periods.
BIA? BIA?
I don't know.
I don't know who that
Tim
is.
was rocking out the BIA before the show started. You can tell us all. We don't have time to get into it, Tim, but you know all about BIA. I think that's
Steve was listening to something. I mean, he claims it was a college basketball game, but that doesn't sound like any college basketball game I've ever listened to. So,
I heard a whistle. I think
I don't know. He was jamming out to something in the background there. I don't know what that was.
Oh, it was basketball. I was tilting. You know.
He was tilting Houston, I believe, the Cougars.
I had to message Chop about it. It's that bad.
Chop owes you some money. All right. Giannis is officially questionable. Miami's rolled their guys in. SGA, he practiced today and he was out with an illness. So I'm just going to assume he's playing. Like, why else I would assume he's feeling fine, but nothing official yet as far as SGA. But he's officially questionable. My assumption is he's playing. We saw Zach Edey. He had a head migraine. He left the game last time. He's questionable, so we'll see. I assume he's feeling better today, but stay tuned. Other body parts we're kind of waiting for. That's essentially it. Dylan Harper said he's going to play. He's still officially questionable, but he told one of the beats he's going to play today. Dennis Schroeder, Demolition Man, is questionable for Sacramento. And, we have Shaden Sharp, who's questionable, too, for Portland. Meaningful game for the Blazers tonight. They're not one of those teams that are incentivized to win when it comes to the Cup. I believe they are they undefeated? They're 2-1, but everybody in that grouping has lost one game. Their differential is minus 18, so yeah, and Denver also 2-1, a positive 27. So, but there's also a wild card. But Portland definitely incentivized to win tonight. And they would beat the Spurs also, which would give them their second loss. And I guess they would need Denver to lose as well. But Tim, is there anything important you want to note before we dive in? Anything of notes? Have you seen any news drop?
No news. Yeah, I mean, value, like you said, there's not a lot of body parts that we're waiting on, not a lot of injury news, not a lot of amazing, like, real standout values. Value seems like, at least as of right now, it's going to be at a premium, and it does not seem like, the best, quote unquote, like, best point per dollar is like a 6.12 min price Clint Capella. That's our best point per dollar play right now. Usually in NBA we get people like in the higher 6s, lower 7s. It seems a little bit more standout, value. But right now it does not seem amazing. And some of these pieces that we're getting, that we're getting to in optimals and in sims, like we'll talk about TJ McConnell. He's not projected for a ton of minutes. Like, yeah, the price is good, but we haven't projected for 18 minutes. So, I mean, there's a lot of fragility there, I think. So, like, right now, the kind of the bottom, like, or I guess the actual, like, quote, the top values, I think, are pretty fragile right now.
Yeah, we saw McConnell's price dip again down to, this is more for a DK thing, down to 3.6. And he's probably going to play 15 to 20 minutes or so. We did see 22 minutes last time, and it's weird because he's been pretty strong of late, 30 fantasy points, 21, 34 his last 3, and his price is going down, which is kind of odd. I don't know how much he would play in a potential blowout. I believe that's the biggest blowout on the board. Toronto, Indiana, that's an 11-point line. I think every other game is single digits. OKC 9.5 versus Minnesota. By the way, I was saying before, get that Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel. Producer Steve is going to post a wheel Wednesday. It's already posted at 5:05. So you got to scroll up a little bit. It is a turkey avatar. Just click that turkey avatar. What he's going to do is he will take your screen name, throw it on the wheel. We're going to spin the wheel later. And if we get, I don't know, what's a good number, Tim, to spin the wheel twice? What's a reasonable number?
To spin it twice?
Well, to give him a second spin. To give him a second spin, give away 2 individual weeks of RG premium.
I feel like we can get 100 likes, Steve. Can we just get 100 likes?
All right, we'll see. I mean, yeah, pressure's on chats. And we want to give away a second week of RG Premium. Let's go ahead and get that Discord channel and, I see it's going up as I'm staring at it. Just go ahead and click on the turkey avatar, and Steve will take care of the rest. All right. Anything else as far as the slate that we should mention, or shall we just dive on in?
Let's dive in.
All right. And New York at Charlotte, 241.5 is the total. This is the only game at 7 o'clock. In the 7 o'clock window, New York, pretty heavy favorite here. Pretty big boy number as well, 241. As far as who's in and who's out for this one, well, Charlotte getting healthier, right? Brandon Miller is at least off the injury report. They have a lot of guys that are on there that don't really matter. I shouldn't even say their names, so I'm not going to. Landry Shamet is still out for New York, and OG's not playing basketball for New York because he's got a hamstring. We're projecting Brunson, McBride, Bridges, Cat, and Mitch Rob to draw the start. Your thoughts as far as the Hornets and New York. LaMelo projected to start here, so they have gotten healthier. The Hornets, thoughts?
I was expecting to see some more pieces of this game, given the fact that it is the highest total on the board at 241. I mean, that we do have other totals that are pretty close to that, but this is technically the highest total on the board. And the spread, I mean, it's not super tight, but it doesn't seem to be a huge blowout risk at like 6.5, 7 point spread. So I was kind of surprised not to see more exposure here. I'm getting to quite a bit of Jalen Brunson at 9K, so I do like him. I think that's an interesting price tag for him. He is going to be a little bit higher owned than Cat, and so I don't mind getting some Cat GPPs, but I do think points per dollar wise, Brunson is the better play. On the other side of the ball, Ryan Kalkbrenner is showing up a ton in both Sims and in optimal builds. 4,200. He's projecting for, I think, around like 18% right now, or at least he was in the last ownership run. So he's going to be pretty popular, and I'm getting to around 20% of him in Sims. And he is, like I said, he's also all over optimals right now. So I do think Ryan Kalkbrenner is a really, really strong play today. But it kind of depends on how you rate out the center position, when you talk about this entire slate. So, we'll talk about some other centers here, but right now, I don't think center is like a super, super strong position. So I don't mind, just playing one center tonight on TK, and two, if you just want to start out with him, I think that's completely fine. So I right now I'm leaning as like he is one of the better values on the slate, I think. Tim,
we're going to disagree.
Really?
It's like the worst matchup possible.
You're worried about Mitch Rob. You're worried about Mitch Rob.
Yeah, Mitch Rob and just New York as a whole. As far as giving up points in the paint, New York doesn't give up points in the paint. That's where Kalkbrenner gets his points. He doesn't step out and hit a three. It's rebounding. He's a really good rebounder. That's how he gets his points. New York is one of the best rebounding teams in basketball. So those are the two things he does to collect fantasy points, and New York subdues both. Additionally, defense versus archetype matchup tool that confirms it. 27th best, however you want to phrase it. It's the 27th best matchup for post bigs, right? So do not like him today. Additionally, I really like the center position today. I love Şengün, if I can get there. I think that Jakob Poeltl is an awesome, awesome player in the mid-tier as far as cash. And I think I like Mark Williams even more than Jakob Poeltl.
You like Jakob Poeltl? Yeah.
Jakob Poeltl's got an awesome matchup against Indiana, and he's really cheap. He's 5'6". Mark Williams, a good matchup.
I do like Mark Williams a ton. He was the only other guy that I was considering. I was not as high on Jakob Poeltl as you, but yeah, I don't disagree. His matchup is fantastic.
So, I mean, I understand that it's like a good point per dollar play, but I am almost definitely, I don't like to speak in definitives. The plan is to not play Kalkbrenner tonight for me. It's not that much more to get guys that are actually in good spots. And if I can get Şengün without KD in a game where Houston wants to win, he could play almost 40 minutes tonight. Wouldn't surprise me. And there's plenty of good stops along the way. Klingen's a good little stop. I think he's perfectly fine for Portland. Again, a Portland team that's incentivized. Mark Williams, he's always a little bit tricky as far as his minutes, but Phoenix is incentivized as well as, if you want to really roll the dice, Derek Queen is an interesting, we'll talk about it. There's possibly a redemption game there for him. assuming he starts and he's not completely buried after playing bad last game. And Yves Missi, who once upon a time was he a lottery pick, or maybe he was not a lottery pick. I don't recall, but he was.
What about Miles Bridges?
I mean, not somebody I put a lot of thought into. I don't think I'm getting there. And the other thing is, Tim, it's a 7:00 game. You know how I feel about 7:00 games. And that's why
I don't think there's going to be a ton of news tonight, though, Dean. So I do disagree with that part of the argument.
You're probably right.
Everything else is fine. I think you can load up on early games tonight, though. I'm not too worried about that angle of it. And I didn't really consider Pirtle either. Mark Williams was definitely on my radar, but Pirtle, that's a good thought. But I wouldn't worry about the 7:00 part of this, really. Not tonight.
To be honest, I'm a little bit concerned. I'm not going to have, I had the same thought. It's a big boy total. New York's at a 124 team total. They have some players that are missing, and I'm probably not going to have Brunson because I think I like SGA more. I'm pretty sure I like Booker more. The tricky part with Booker is he's going to be owned, and it's not the most amazing spot for Booker because he doesn't really have his shooters out there to complete his assists. So his assists might go down a little bit, even though it's a good assist matchup for Sacramento. And they're all kind of similar, obviously different price points, and kind of a tiebreaker. I would probably get away from Brunson, but he's fine. He's fine. I'm afraid I'm not going to have much of this game, which it could be a problem. But see,
that's the thing. I definitely want some Knicks exposure.
Your favorite player from New York is Brunson?
Brunson it's Brunson. If I was building out more teams, I would definitely be getting some Cat here. I might even be getting to some Mikal Bridges as well. It's definitely I'm really considering Brunson for like single entry 3-max stuff, just because I love the spot. I love that 124 team total. I'm not worried about the early window start time. I'm not worried about that. I think he's got 60 in him here tonight. So you can win the Cockbrenner argument, but I'm sticking with Brunson here.
No, I'm not arguing against Brunson, to be clear. I just like SGA more. I like Amin Thompson more. And
this is a pretty loaded slate. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can play the slate, which makes it more fun because we're not stuck in like super, super chalky value land. Like there's not clear obvious builds tonight.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think I'm playing anybody on Charlotte's. That's just Ball. When was the last time Ball's played more than 30 minutes?
I'm not really. I think Colin Knippel is interesting. In GBP's 6,900.
Yeah, he's been great.
I know Brandon Miller's back, but still, I still think he can. I still think he can beat that price tag. I do like this game. I especially like the Knicks side.
First of the month was the last time Ball played over 29 minutes, by the way. I know he's injured for several games, but there's been some blowouts, but 25, 27, 28, 27. The 4 games he played. I'm not going to go there. And again, I'd much rather play Brunson like you're talking about. Miller probably doesn't help Knippel. And New York, I wanted to check their most recent pace. Did I close that out? I may have closed that out, but in my head, they play really slow. Is that correct?
I can look it up really quick.
They're middle of the road now, I guess. Yeah. Ninth slowest, basically. Yeah, they're not a very fast team.
Knicks and Charlotte are 8th to 9th slowest, 21st and 22nd pace.
Is it weird that they're both pretty slow and it's a 241 total?
I mean, honestly, Charlotte's getting healthy, right? I mean, so you can't really use that number for Charlotte at least, right? Because they haven't been fully healthy.
Yeah, they're like a bottom 6 defense too, but yeah, right. And I'm sure they play faster with Ball. I don't have the on-off stuff in front of me, but I would imagine when Ball's in, they play faster.
Yeah.
Okay, let's scoot along and talk about 7:30 game. The Pacers and the Raptors. Biggest blowout on the board. 233.5 is the total. One of the hottest teams in all of basketball. TJ's Raptors. TJ will be on later, I believe. surely hyping up his Raptors. Kyle as well, and Notorious. No, joining the show. As far as who's in and who's out for this one, let's go ahead and check out the old injury report. Toronto, we have RJ Barrett. Barrett's still out with that knee. It's going to be a little while, I imagine. Nothing really new with the Pacers. Same old, same old. No Toppin, no Naismith. Halliburton, of course. Furphy, unavailable. I mentioned Pirtle being a pretty good, this is an awesome spot for Pirtle. Pacers get absolutely ravaged inside. They're terrible rebounding. So no matter how many bigs they, kind of cycle through, they're all bad. Isaiah Jackson and, JRE and Tony Bradley and Jay Huff. I don't know how to predict who's going to get those minutes. I just basically ignore those guys. I feel like I was thinking about playing like one Raptor on every team just because somebody's probably going to have a big game against Indiana. 122 team total. I'm also kind of thinking maybe we get a blowout. So I might just keep it at one just because I'm betting on a blowout here. But if it stays close, I think Mathurin's an interesting run back if you want to do that. It is Pascal revenge, I suppose, but I just can't get, we only make so many lineups, Tim. I'm not getting a Pascal on a night where we don't have a ton of value, and he's like my one big spend, or if I have two big spends, he's not one of the two. You tell me, how do you see the Pacers? You also mentioned TJ McConnell, Timothy John is especially cheap on DK.
Yeah, and then there's also Jay Huff that's showing up quite a bit in Optimals and in Sims. I mean,
you can have
that's just kind of how desperate we are. I mean, we have projected for 20 points, Dean, at 3,700.
I don't want that. If I told you we get you 20 points, no more or less, you don't want that.
Yeah, on this slate,
I'll take Capella. Capella's $7 cheaper. It'll give me 20 points.
I don't know. I think on this slate you might want 20 points at 37. I would agree with you. Most slates you don't want that, but I think on this slate you might want that. As it sits right now, you might want that. So, so definitely you're definitely playing min one Toronto in single entry. Like I don't care if you play Emmanuel Quickly or Scotty Barnes or Brandon Ingram, but I would at least be getting to one of those guys. And I would be doing min one in like a 20 set. I mean, you're definitely getting to a ton of Toronto here tonight. Emmanuel Quickly is certainly your cash game guy. He's 6,800. He's way too cheap. He's also going to be the highest owned out of this entire bunch. So if you want to get off of some ownership, maybe you go up to a Scotty Barnes or Brandon Ingram. But I think Quickly is your best points per dollar play. I think the bigger question with Toronto is, do you add a second piece? Can this game stay close enough? Definitely Optimals and Sims are giving you tons of two Toronto lineups here. So I think you obviously can do it. It's kind of up to your own risk tolerance. I said that Quickly is my favorite. Barnes is probably my second favorite. Yeah, I mean, Jakob Poeltl outside of Jacoby Walter is going to be the lowest owned out of these projected starters. So I think that Poeltl is pretty good leverage off of some of these other chalkier Toronto pieces. I am not as high on Poeltl as Dean is, but I'm not disputing that it's a very, very good matchup. So, you're definitely getting to a ton of Toronto here.
I had to check the stat being dropped in chat by Hoosiers saying Banners saying that Jay Huff has the most blocks per minute. And I did check his per 36. It is 4.5, which is actually higher than Wemby's. If I did that correctly, which is kind of surprising. The thing is, Huff, he might play 17 minutes. He might play 22, I guess. TJ in chat saying it's a Mamu night. Yeah, I like Mamukelashvili as well. I think he's kind of in the mix. He's a really good fantasy point minute player. There's a decent chance there's some blowout stuff. We're only giving him 21. He's basically the same price as Cockrunner, and I think he's got more upside. I would take Mamu over Cockrunner. We're just giving him 21 minutes, but on the season, over a fantasy point minute guy, capable of hitting a 3 as well for a big man. You said your favorite Toronto player was it Barnes? I heard you say several players.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing cash tonight, it's got to be Quickly. He'd be the first guy in. I think, and you're definitely going to be playing one of those three. Quickly, Barnes, Ingram. You're going to be playing one of those three if you're a single entry player. I'd be getting to at least one of those three in every of my 3 max lineups tonight. I guess it's close. It's really between Quickly and Barnes for me. I think I think it might be Scotty Barnes.
Shed's also been closing in the absence of Barrett's. Like Walter's been starting, but Shed's been closing. If you're looking for another cheapie, like I guess he's a direct pivot off of TJ McConnell in some ways. If you're looking for a cheap point guard, he's still under 4K on DK.
I am getting to more Shed than Pirtle and Sims right now. So
yeah, really good assist guy. He's like one of the best assist percentages the last I checked in the league. Typically he's running the second unit many times, so he'll play with the starters.
Does he a mopper?
If it's like a full-on like blowout, he will stick around, but I don't think he'll flat out mop. Like it would probably be like AJ Lawson out there.
Like he's not getting the entire fourth.
I don't think so. If you're talking about like a 25, 30 point game, no, I think he comes out at some point.
Right.
I wouldn't think so. Because they have like 15 guys. They have a lot of dudes.
They got a lot of moppers then.
Yeah, I mean Garrett Temple, where's probably like a 17th team. How many teams has Garrett Temple played for? Chucky Hepburn wears a jersey that says Raptors on it. I would imagine he would mop. But yeah, Mogbo, one of the bigs, so would mop. Battle. There's a lot of guys that they would probably be happy to give a few minutes to if they can. Anything else we should say, or shall we scoot along from Toronto and the Pacers?
Getting all the Miami stuff. They're all available, it looks like. Powell, Wiggins.
I thought we had that earlier. Now it's just confirmation of the confirmation.
Yeah, I think they were deemed probable earlier. Yeah, Hawkes, they're all in.
Yeah, man, it's tough. I think we were projecting 11 Heat players, and Spo typically doesn't run 11. It's going to be a bunch of guys playing in the 20s, and it's not good for our purposes. I don't know how to play anybody in Miami. And I wanted to see, I don't want anybody to be hurt, but the ascension of Kel'el Ware is going to be suppressed tonight, I think, because everybody's healthy. And he might go back to the bench. I'm not sure how much you've been watching him, but Ware has been just awesome. The rebounding has been, out of this world, one of the biggest rebounding rates in the league of late. Even like I think Bam was the only guy we had projected above 30, and I don't feel super comfortable with him getting more than 31, right? I think it was like 32 or something like that. It's just going to be a squeeze as far as those Miami minutes. It's probably a good thing, I guess, because they're playing so fast. Those guys can rest and conserve their energy, and when they're out there, they can fly. We'll talk about Miami and Milwaukee soon enough, but let's talk about Minnesota. Minnesota and OKC, 226.5 is a total. The Thunder are 9.5 point favorites here. SGA officially questionable with an illness. He did practice today, so again, deductive reasoning tells me if he's practicing, he's probably not ill, so he's probably playing. Wiggins is still out. Obviously, the good Jalen Williams you've yet to see for OKC this season. Despite that, I think they're 17-1 this year, 18-1, 17-1.
Crazy.
They have one loss. They've been fabulous, just outrageous. Do you want to guess? I don't know if you saw my blurb today or not, but I was blurbing about SGA on the we can see in the lineup HQ as the expert survey as well. How many games this year, Tim? They played 18. How many games has SGA not seen a minute on the court in the fourth quarter? Out of 18.
13.
11. Yeah, he plays
close.
The entire third, but just does not play the fourth quarter. And what if he plays the fourth quarter? And he might play a fourth quarter against Minnesota. I think there's a decent chance. So I kind of like betting on him possibly playing the fourth quarter, which is something we've seen not happening a ton. Also, Minnesota matchup, pretty good defense. McDaniel's pretty good historical wing defender. Last 5 times he's played Minnesota, he scored at least 37 points in the last 5 times. So, I'm not afraid of the defense of Minnesota. SGA is spectacular. I really, really like him, especially if he's going to be 5% owned is what I'm seeing right now. So I love that for single entry. If that kind of holds up, as a pivot away from Booker, I think Booker is going to be the most popular amongst the big spend point guards. A little bit more.
Brunson's the pivot off Booker, Dean, but we've already discussed that.
What's the ownership difference between Brunson 15%? That's what we have it right now. We have SGA at 5%. I think
is SGA really a pivot off Booker when he's $2,000 more? Is that
it's a 2v2.
Brunson's the same price at least. You can make the same construction with Brunson, but you're right. Brunson's still like 16% versus Booker's like 24, I think.
Yeah, I guess it's not. There's an implied like 2v2, I suppose. It's not a direct pivot, but yeah. And if he doesn't play, incidentally, I assume he is, but I guess we cannot flat out assume. AJ Mitchell is projected to be like the best play in the slate if we happen to lose SGA. Our if then is like 33 minutes for AJ Mitchell when he would have 38 DK, 37 FanDuel. I think his price is in like the 5s.
6K.
6K
on DK. He is, I think, 5.9 on FanDuel. Either way, if SGA were to sit, Mitchell is probably the best points per dollar play on the entire slate. So it doesn't really. I know he's not your traditional like salary saving price tag, but if SGA were to sit, you're definitely getting Mitchell into your lineups on both sites everywhere. He definitely would be obviously super, super chalky, but I think he'd be fantastic chalk. So I'm fine. I don't think I can get to SGA in single entry though. I'm fine if you want to get sprinkles here and there, I guess, in like, maybe like a 20 max or something like that. But I really cannot. Yeah, I guess it's okay. It's just tough. His price tag is so high, and there is very little cheap value tonight. So it's really you really got to hit his ceiling outcome, and you've got to hope that some of these fringier salary saving pieces hit as well. And I don't really like it that much. So it's not for me. I like the gamble though. I like that you're taking a shot with him, but it's just not for me tonight.
In general, you think it's kind of like a mid-tier build, tonight, or how are you feeling? Because when it comes,
you poo-poo Jay Huff, yet you want to play SGA. How are you going to play SGA? How are you going to play SGA? It's not a requirement. If you're not going to be jamming in guys like Jay Huff.
Well, because I like the mid-tier centers tonight a lot, and I just don't.
You still got to pay $11K. You still got to pay $11K for SGA. You still have to find value pieces, even if you want to play Pirtle and Mark Williams. You still have to find. You still have to find cheap value.
I could play Reed Shepherd. I could play Royce O'Neal. I could play Shed or McConnell. A Kogi. I don't want to play a Kogi, but I can play a Kogi, who's probably going to play 30 minutes tonight for Houston because they're really, really thin. I just don't like playing set. If I can avoid center roulette on the Pacers, I'm going to avoid it. And we're giving 20 minutes to Huff and 21 to Jackson. I don't know, man. I don't know who's going to be the guy that rises out of those. And again, I think the position is pretty strong, and I actually feel better about Capella at 3K. I think Capella's at least going to play 15 minutes. He might play 20. He's played with Şengün this year, like 60 minutes or so. So. Like, what's the difference between Capella and Huff?
Well, I'm just saying you have to play one of those sub 4K guys that I don't think are fantastic tonight. That's my only point.
Are you trying to tell me, Tim, that we live in the world of a salary cap? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Somebody should coin that. That is you don't really think about it, but you realize, oh yeah, that's the world we live in. Do we like anybody in Minnesota?
Not really. I was looking at team exposures and the sims that I ran, and this is the game that I'm getting the least amount of. I'm getting to basically nobody here on either side. Not really a team that I'm looking. I'm not looking to attack the Thunder, and Minnesota's 109-point team total really at all tonight. So, I guess you can always roster Anthony Edwards in large field stuff. But I'm not somebody I'm going to be clicking on.
Okay, so let me see if I can do this really quickly, if I can kind of eyeball it. So the Dallas Mavericks have the second best defensive rating on the season. It's 110, right? I'm not going to mess with the decimals. They're 110. So let me go to somebody that's like 117, right? So Dallas Mavericks are second in basketball at defensive rating at 110. The Bucks are 117, right? So they're 21 overall. So the difference between the Mavericks and the Bucks, follow along here, is 20 over 20 spots here. 7, the difference of 7, right? We're talking about Dallas being 110, the Bucks being 117. So 2 to 21, right, Tim? Follow. It's the same distance between Dallas at 2, 110, and OKC at 102 and change. Same distance. That's how good OKC's defense is. That's the point. 1 and 2 is the same distance between them that 2 and 22 have. Insane. Yeah.
I don't see any reason to roster Minnesota tonight. You can fool around with SGA if you want, but I mean, I'm not rostering anyone from Minnesota.
Well, thankfully he doesn't have to play against his own defense. I mean, practices are probably tough for him.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying, though.
I know. I'm just being a jerk. I don't know why. I'm just being a smart ass. Happy holidays. All right. We're moving on. Yes, Minnesota. OKC, we're done.
Yeah, moving on.
Reminder, if you're just joining the show, hit that like button to subscribe, turn on those notifications, and we're giving away a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. How are we doing that? We're doing it in the Discord channel. You don't have to guess any movies. You don't have to pay attention to any clues. There's nothing scrolling. Just hit the avatar under producer Steve's post at 5:05. You got to scroll back a little bit. RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. We're going to spin that wheel. We're going to put your name on the wheel. If you happen to get your name pulled, if it lands on you, Steve will hook you up with a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. That's all the sports, right? Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, NBA, PGA, all the goods, all the bells, all the whistles. I mentioned Happy Holidays. Do want to shout out our Black Friday sale. Sign up with the link in the description for our Black Friday sale. Users will get RotoGrinders Combo PRO plan for the price of a single sport for the first 3 months. So instead of you get the single sport price, you get all the sports. Less than $75 per month. I believe it's $135 off. That's your first 3 months. $74.99 for the first 3 months. After the 3 months are over, it will renew unless you do not want it to renew. Take care of it at the regular price. Offer is valid. Looks like for a week and change, 12/2. So December 2nd. Get in that Discord channel. People are asking for sales when are things going on sale. That is our Black Friday sale. You get Combo Pro, and it's like Tim's talked about the SimLabs, all the expert rankings, the articles, the bells, the whistles, the optimizer, ownership, the lineup HQ tool you're looking at, everything you could think of under the sun here at RG. Okay. I should also mention Shot Quality is still free for a 3-day pass. You get a 3-day free trial for Shot Quality. Again, check out the link in the description for that. It would renew if you want to keep it for $39.99 unless otherwise you jump in and cancel it. But again, check out the link. Shot Quality, if you're not aware, it gives you the most predictive data in basketball, breaking down every shot to show what should have gone in, not necessarily what actually did go in. The next game is the Bucks versus my Heat. 238.5 is the total. Milwaukee is about an 8.5-point dog here. So I think Giannis is not playing, but I don't know. We know the Heat, they are fully healthy for Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo is officially questionable. His brother Alex is also out. KPJ is out. And Taurean Prince. No Taurean Prince in Miami. If you missed it, Tyler Hero is available. He's good to go. Jaime Jaquez is good to go with his hip. Jovic is available with his hip. Andrew Wiggins also good to go with his hip. And Norman Powell's got a groin, and he's going to play with it. He is also available. I don't know how to play the Miami guys here, Tim, because there's too many dudes and just not enough minutes to go around. So I don't think I'm playing anybody in Miami because everybody's in. And I believe, what's our minutes here? Yeah, the only guy getting minutes above 30. We're giving 32 to Bam, 30 to Hero. By the way, he did not make a three-pointer in his first game back. He took a lot of mid-range shots. 0 for 2 from 3. He took a couple shots from 3, but it's just too many guys for Miami. So I don't see myself playing anybody. And Milwaukee, we're giving 32 minutes to Giannis. He's certainly in play. If he goes, I don't think he's playing. But you tell me, how do you feel about the Bucks and the Heat?
Yeah, I completely agree with you about the Heat. Like, I'm not getting to any. Sims agrees with that also. You're basically getting to absolutely no Miami tonight. I did really like that Bam price, though, at 7,800. I just don't think it's going to be the spot tonight. So I think that's a pretty easy, clear cross off for me with Miami. At least in my first 20 lineups, not getting to any Miami. So I think that's pretty easy. We're obviously waiting the Giannis news. I kind of agree with Dean here that spread makes me think that Vegas thinks that Giannis is not playing. We do have an if-then set up for that. Ryan Rollins would end up being the guy that you're going to be getting the most of here. He is, and I will say really quick, on FanDuel, he is really, really cheap. He's 7,700 on FanDuel. He's going to be in really, really strong value over there.
What a sentence. Not to cut you off, what a sentence. Ryan Rollins is really, really cheap at 7.7. I'm not saying you're wrong. It just sounds funny. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think I've rostered him more than anybody else this season. I've played him.
He's been very good.
I've played him an absolute ton this year. So yeah, it's very, very strange to be clicking on Ryan Rollins all the time. And yeah, so definitely a fantastic spot. Miami still plays at the fastest pace in all basketball. So definitely going to be getting some Ryan Rollins here if Giannis sits. But really, there doesn't appear to be anybody else that I think is like an absolute must-have, which seems kind of weird. Like, we used to load up on the Bucks anytime Giannis would sit. I do think Miles Turner's interesting on both sites. He's 6,600 on DK, so I do think he's someone interesting here. But I don't think we need to play Portis or Kuzma or AJ Green. I think it's really just Ryan Rollins and maybe a little bit of Miles Turner.
Tim, I was asked in the NBA Discord channel earlier today what the best Thanksgiving movie is. Do you have that answer? I know. So my answer was, I think the first answer is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I think that's the chalk. There's not a lot of Thanksgiving movies. The Holdovers is really good. Paul Giamatti came out a couple years ago. Trying to think what else would qualify. Let me know, chat, that the best Thanksgiving movies, because I don't think there's a great collection.
There isn't.
TJ saying Spider-Man. I don't recall. Is Spider-Man
That's a Thanksgiving. Well, it's weird, Dean. I've never actually seen any Spider-Man movie.
Oh, boy. TJ's going to give you the business. He's not going to be happy with you. They're good, but they're mostly good, generally good, in my humble opinion. Some are better than others, but TJ will tell you the best one to watch, I imagine, when he jumps on in a little bit. Prisoners, if you count Prisoners as a Thanksgiving movie. National Lampoon, The Turkey Scene. That's Christmas, Don Yuzi. That's a Christmas movie. It's literally called National Lampoon Christmas Vacation, unless there's a different vacation I'm not aware of. Charlie Brown. Yeah, I don't mean, I haven't watched that one forever. I don't know if it holds up. And you got to ask the kids if the Charlie Brown's actually pretty good. But, yeah. Chat's giving us some other options out there for Thanksgiving movies. Are we done with Milwaukee and Miami? I think we are. That game is not as eventful as I wanted it to be, but I can't make it happen.
Yeah, I actually thought that there'd be more stuff for that game, but there really isn't.
We have 4 more games to go. We're going to spin that wheel probably around 6 o'clock on the East Coast. Where are we at? Let me know, Steve. Where are we at as far as likes? We said we'll give a second spin of the wheel, a second week of RG Premium out to another person. If we hit a certain threshold, 56 likes. Oh, boy. We're not on pace. I don't think we're on pace to hit 100. That's unfortunate. But if you haven't done
I thought it was 100. I thought it was 100 for 2.
Yeah, we're gonna give away at least one. We promised one.
Yeah,
that's the 4.
We gotta spin the wheel once, Dean. I mean, everyone thinks it's rigged anyway. So
it is. I already picked. Just don't even. I already picked who's gonna get it. So actually, you know what? Don't even bother signing up at the Discord channel. Memphis and New Orleans, 234.5 is the total. Memphis is a 3 or 4 point favorite here in New Orleans as far as who's in and who's out for this one. Zach Edey, he had that migraine, the head, so he didn't finish the last game out. Jock Landale was just awesome off the bench. I presume he would be pretty good projection-wise if we lose Edey again. As things currently stand, I assume he's playing, but who knows? We shall see. He significantly improves their defense when he does play. He's a big boy. Obviously, Ja is still out. No Scottie Pippen of any variety. No Ty Jerome. We haven't seen him all season long. He's going to be out for a long time. For New Orleans, Herb, the 3-and-D Herb Jones is still out. Jordan Poole still out with his quad. We're projecting Derek Queen to start, as well as Jeremiah Fears. We did see last game where they both got yanked to start the second half. Yves Missi was awesome, respectively. as well as Jose Alvarado. Grand Theft Alvarado was really, really good too, for what it's worth. Memphis, New Orleans. How do you see this game?
So, what about you talked about Zach Edey's questionable right, Dean? Do you have a feel for that one?
My guess he's in. I don't know, but my guess he's in. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like what that would do, like Santi Aldama, he's projected for 30 right now. I'm seeing if we have an if-then for that.
We don't.
Quick. We don't. Okay.
Somebody DM Kyle. Maybe Kyle will be kind to us to let us know. He's probably not tonight though because he's on crunch time.
Yeah, I was just curious because I was kind of looking at Santi Aldama, but it's pretty tough to click on that if Edey's still in. So, but definitely one to keep an eye out on if Edey were to rest. I think Aldama would be super interesting, and he's still power forward eligible as well. He's got power forward center, so I think that's pretty interesting. But yeah, Cedric Coward at 5,900, getting to a ton of him right now. I do like him a lot. Let me just check his price really quick on FanDuel. 55, yeah, even better play on FanDuel at 5,500. So getting to a bunch of him on both sites right now. So I do like him regardless of any kind of injury situation. I think he's a standout play. I think you can play him in single entry, cash, whatever contest type you're in. I think he's a really strong play on both sites. Getting to Sadiq Bey and Derek Queen actually in Sims quite a bit. Getting to some Trey Murphy as well. So I mean, I think there are pieces to build into this game, and it's a pretty good total, and it's pretty close spread. So I do like this game. I'm mostly getting pieces of the New Orleans side. Curious, like, can we play Zion here? I mean,
I think you can.
He hasn't played over 29 minutes yet, though. That's my only concern. But I feel like he could theoretically put up over 50 fantasy points here, and I don't think he's going to get played at all.
Yeah, 30, 29 since coming back, and even earlier in the season. He did play 33, 37, 33, but then he got injured. Skinny Zion.
Right.
He missed a big chunk, and close games still 29, 30, 30. They're really, really close as far as monitoring his minutes. We're giving him 31. I didn't see anything about him getting a little bit of a boost, but I assume somebody saw something as far as a median projection to give him 31 minutes. It limits him a little bit because he's not super cheap, obviously, but I think he's in the mix. We currently have him in single digits as far as ownership. This is like the kind of the ballsy, GP game because I think Derek Queen is really, really rough to go back to. They're showing that they're willing to rug pull him. Now maybe they're just trying to scare him a little bit and be like, you can't take anything for granted, right? And then now he's going to bounce back and say, well, I'll show you for benching me for Eves Misi, who was playing good to be fair, but still, because Queen was on a roll going into that game. He was playing awesome, and I was hyping him up. I was like, well, maybe Joe Dumars isn't a dope. Maybe it was. I can't
remember which night that was. Was he super chalky that night?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So
I wonder. Smith night.
Okay. Oh my God. Right.
The two of them paired together was really
no wonder I forgot about that night so quickly. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I think we are projected for around 10% right now. I doubt that he gets much higher than that.
Yeah.
So I guess he's 14% on FanDuel. He's power forward over there too, which I like a lot. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a really strong tournament play. I don't know if I can quite do that in single entry stuff, but he's really close.
All right. Anything else you want to note as far as Memphis and New Orleans?
I think we're good.
I guess we can knock out this game and then spin the wheel. I suppose we can do that again. And let's make Steve's life easier. Let's not wait for the last second to click the button because it's tricky to transfer the names over. So just, let's hit the disc. If you want to play along, if you want to get your name on the wheel, do it now.
Steve's already having a pretty bad night, so
he's tilting. Yeah, it's Chop's fault, man. I don't. Maybe Houston came back for all I know. I don't know.
All those dumbasses didn't cover.
There you go. I guess not. I guess they won the game with the well, that's unfortunate. Blame Chop. DM Chop and tell him it's his fault. The Houston did not cover. But yeah, last chance to get in that Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel. Steve, his name is in pink, so you can see it. It's at 5:05 as far as the post. He's telling you to do it now because he does not want to wait to the last seconds. If you want to be assured of being on the wheel, click the turkey avatar right underneath Steve's name. Also hit that like button so we can give away 2 individual weeks. Now we're in the 8 o'clock window, Tim. Nope, the 10 o'clock window. We got to wait 2 hours. Rockets, Warriors, 224 and a half is the total. Warriors are 1.5, 2.5 point favorites here. Houston is super thin. Steven Adams, he's got an ankle. KD's out for personal reasons. Tari Easton's still out with his oblique. DFS, I don't think we've seen the entire season. We're not going to see Freddie VanVleet all year long. The Warriors, we have Draymond. Draymond is officially probable with a foot. Al Horford is out legitimately with he's got a nerve irritation. Kuminga is still dealing with his knee, so he's out. Rockets have 11 bodies, Tim. And among those 11 bodies are J.D. Davidson, Isaiah Crawford, Jeff Green, Jayshawn Tate. He's, in years past, he's done some things, but kind of squeezed this year. This is why, Capella is projecting pretty well, because he's Stoneman on DK. Aaron Holiday is going to get some run. Of course, he's not somebody you want to roster because his usage, I shouldn't say this without looking, but I'm going to guess his usage is 10. How about that? Is that a good over-under? Oh, it's 14. It's higher than I thought it was. 0.81 fantasy points minutes in the season. Well, it's higher than expected. Still not playing him. But, the Rockets that play look pretty good. They project pretty well. We're projecting 38 minutes for Amen, 36 for Şengün, Smith 34, Reed Shepard 31, and I mentioned Okogie early as a cheapie at 30 minutes. This is also a game where the Rockets want to win for cup purposes. The Warriors, I believe, I'm pretty sure are out of it. I just want to double check and see this where they are in the standings. I think they have 2 losses. They're 1-2, so they're out, right? Although the Rockets are 1-2 as well, so they need Portland to lose. They need Denver. It's possible that this is a really tough division and everybody loses twice, I guess. Okay, Rockets, Warriors, thin Rockets. How do we feel?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to be playing some Rockets tonight. I feel very similar to the whole Toronto situation. This is a team that we're going to be building in heavily tonight. I think that probably the clear and obvious choices are Reed Shepard, who is 5,600, Amen Thompson at 8,200. I think those are the clear and obvious choices. I'm going to be interested to see kind of what the field does with Okogie and the more expensive piece, Şengün at 9,900. It is kind of nice that Şengün has power forward eligibility now, so you don't have to waste a center spot, even though this is a slate where I don't think center is fantastic. So you can use him at center, but I don't think he's going to be super, super chalky. I do like the idea of getting overweight Reed Shepard here. I think he is my favorite out of the group. We have him projected for over 30 minutes tonight. I think that's price is just too cheap. So I think he's a guy who's a staple, possibly core play for me in single entry. So definitely like him. Amen Thompson's pretty close to that as well. So those 2 are my favorite. I'm not really going to get to Clint Capella tonight, especially if he's going to be 18 to 20% owned. I'm just gonna pass on that. I get it if you really, really need a min price guy, but he's just not for me tonight. I'm not getting to any of these other Houston bench pieces. It's just going to be the projected starters for Houston.
Yeah, I mean, Capella's more than a fantasy point minute guy. We're giving him 18 minutes officially. So I think we're giving 58. Let me just go ahead and confirm that. We're giving 18 to Capella. We're giving 18 to Capella, and we're giving how many to Şengün? 36. So we're giving how much overlap are we projecting? 6 minutes of overlap.
6 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. Which again, I was checking before in the Court IQ. I think they've played like 59 minutes so far this year together. So I think we're going to get some overlap. And I suppose Jeff Green can get some more run. We're giving him 3 minutes right now officially. He probably plays. Tate's going to play some. Just trying to figure out where these minutes go. We did give a heads minute to Crawford if he plays, but I don't know if he plays tonight or not. Wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. Davison is getting 14, but yeah, I think Capella is interesting as a 3K cheapie, and obviously
you're really gonna play Capella tonight.
If I need him, I think he can give me 25. Like
you would play him in single entry?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
All right, that's fair.
But I think he's in the pool. And again, you didn't really like the center as a collection. I talk about really like Mark Williams. We haven't talked about yet. I think you could play Klingon. We talk about Pirtle. A lot of the guys in the 5K area I like. Mabakelashvili at 4.2 is in play for me. You talk about the Cockbrenner. I think it's kind of bad chalk if he's going to be sort of chalky. I still like the matchup. I don't think he's got a ton of upside. Diabate is right there as well, so they got to chop those 48. Yeah. Again, I'm not here telling you I like playing Capella. Once upon a time, this is like the world of playing. We've seen his whole career, right, for Capella. Once upon a time, we paid $6K for this guy, maybe $7K for Capella on the right night. But those days are long gone. He's not that guy anymore. But always a pretty good fantasy producer and producing more than a fantasy point minute this season. Did you like anybody in the Warriors?
Not really. I just don't really like that side of the game that much. I mean, you can always get the pieces of Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler, I think, is okay. Jimmy Butler's been very playable on FanDuel at 8,400, but I don't love it here tonight. I don't think anyone on Golden State is any kind of a priority.
Officially, SGA is game time decision, which is, I don't know, a little surprising. I suppose it's possible he doesn't play, but if he's still feeling ill, why was he at practice? That doesn't make any sense to me, but hey, what do I know? Okay, that's it for the Warriors, the Rockets. We'll talk about the next two games, the last two games in a second. We do want to bring in Steve. We want to spin the wheel. I don't think we got to 100 likes. We got close, I want to say, but horseshoes, hand grenades. What do we got, Steve?
Not that close. 71.
Oh, boy. Not even a hand grenade. Unbelievable. Well, give it a whirl.
Jay Norman.
Exactly who I picked. It worked out. Worked out perfectly. So shout out to Jay Norman. Yeah. 1 week free RG Premium. Producer Steve will juice you up. He's going to slide in your DMs here momentarily. Anything else, Steve? Oh, we're giving 2 away.
What? Wow.
Look at Steve's going down here.
IBC.
I think it's LBC. LBC.
I don't know. It's IBC.
Like the root beer, it's not the LBC.
Yeah, I think it's just because the first letter was not capitalized. I don't know.
Root beer fan.
In the Discord, it shows lowercase IBC 0710.
Can we all agree that IBC is the best root beer? We can agree on that, right?
No, absolutely not.
What's better than
Barks.
IBC?
That's root beer?
Barks.
No.
Barks is like
Barks
a little
is fine.
spicy. I kind of like it. I think
Barks,
Mug might be the worst root beer.
What about Dad's?
Not your dad's root beer with alcohol?
No, it's just called Dad's.
Oh.
I didn't realize there was a not your Dad's. It's like an alcohol infused. I guess
that's good.
Yeah.
All right. I'll message you guys in Discord. Congratulations. Happy Thanksgiving.
There's today's poll. What's the best root beer? IBC cream soda. I haven't had it forever, but it's amazing. It's also, Tim, it's in a bottle. It goes up a point within a glass bottle. Glass bottle versus a can.
That's valid.
Yeah.
Bottle is superior.
it raises the ceiling for sure. Spurs, Blazers, 240.5 is the total. It's high. It's tight. Portland is a 1.5 point favorite. They're incentivized to win as well. We do have a body part of note for Portland. It is the calf of Shaedon Sharpe. He's questionable. Thibault, of course, still out. Drew Holiday still out with his calf. Scoot, no Scoot. He's got a hamstring. As far as the Spurs, Castle still out. Wemby, of course, still out. Dylan Harper questionable with a calf, but he did say that one of the reporters, one of the beats, that he's playing. So take that for what it's worth. It's still it's Point Denny Avdia. He's super expensive, but he's pretty freaking awesome. I talked about Klingon being one of the guys in the mix as far as the centers in the mid tier. I don't mind him at all if I land on him. Blazers, Spurs. What do you got?
Yeah, so definitely getting to a ton of Denny Avdia here tonight at 9,500 on DK. I think he is one of the better spend up options on the entire slate. Really good matchup. Really good total. Really good spread here. Definitely one of those high and tight games. He is 9,200 on FanDuel, so definitely getting to a ton of him over there as well. So I think he is one of the best plays on the entire slate. So definitely getting to a ton of him. Outside of that, for Portland, maybe some Klingon here in GPPs. I think that's okay. Nobody becomes a priority though outside of Avdia for me. On the other side of this game, getting to some Devin Vassell on FanDuel at least at 6,100. Champagny as well. So getting to some Fox here. Luke Cornett is pretty interesting at 4,900 on FanDuel. His price on DraftKings is 5,300. I think that's okay. Like, you could definitely throw both Klingon and Cornett into that kind of like mid-range center, bracket that we like so much tonight. I think they're decent pivots off of guys like Mark Williams, decent pivots off of some of the other like Pirtle, like Cockbrunner. So I think you can get to pieces of these guys, but the Spurs are much better plays on FanDuel at least than they are on DK.
We're seeing Avdia at 22% currently, Klingon at 16%, Keldon Johnson, the big body Keldon Johnson at 13% on DK, Champagny at 11%. That's another one of those guys like you don't feel great about, but like he's just cheap enough where he's in the mix. But it kind of speaks to the nature of the slate, which isn't spectacular when it comes to cheapies. Not seeing any news. It's been pretty quiet, although we did kind of come into this game not really expecting a ton of news breaking. We did get an update on Giannis. The update is no update. He's a game time decision. So thank you for nothing, Milwaukee. So I think that's an 8:00 game, right? So we'll probably know the starting lineup by 7:30. No, it's a 7:30 game, so we'll probably know it's 7:00, give or take. Maybe they break it on crunch time. Crunch time coming in here shortly. Got Kyle, returning champion, as well as TJ Zwarych, one of the greatest DFS players in all Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. And you have Notorious, the Notorious one, Noto, joining the crew, taking you guys all the way up the lock. Tim, I know you got your eye on the hockey tonight. Your multi-tasking
15 game NHL slate tonight, Dean.
By the way, should I go to I was thinking about this the other day. There's an outdoor game for the Panthers this year over at when the Marlins play. I feel like I should go to that game. That could be fun, right?
I mean, if that's what you're into, Dean, go for it.
Well, are you not into hockey, or is like have you been to one of those outdoor games before?
I'm not into leaving the house, Dean.
Neither am I. Yeah, but
right,
I think it's
right. So
I'll make an exception for something that seems like pretty fun.
Yeah, maybe. Like I said, if that's what you're into, go for it, Dean. Who are they playing?
I think the Rangers. I feel like it's the Rangers.
Interesting.
I'm not. It's like January 2nd or something like that. And it's weird because it's always like snow games, right? Many times it's snow games or it's super cold, but it's going to be, it's going to be in Lone Depot Park, which I would imagine the roof will be closed because it's probably, well, who knows? We might get a cool day. It might be like in the 50s or the 60s, depending on. But we may go to the game. We'll see. All right. Last game. That's everybody, right? Everybody's playing tonight in hockey, right? 15 games.
Everyone, Dino.
So the Suns and the Kings, not everybody is playing for the Suns tonight. 233.5 is the total. The Suns are 5-point favorites at Sacramento. Who's in and who's out for this one? Well, Dennis Schroeder's officially questionable. He's got a hip for Sacramento. Domantas Sabonis, he's still dealing with that meniscus tear in his knee, so he is out, significantly weakening their ability to rebound the ball. Grayson Allen, three-point shooter extraordinaire, is not playing basketball tonight. He's got a quad. Ryan Dunn also out with a wrist, and Jalen Green out with a hammy. So they're really thin as far as the wings. We're expecting Jordan Goodwin to draw a start, Gillespie to get some run as well. We've talked several times about Mark Williams probably being a little bit too cheap here. Booker going to be asked to do a lot. It is a cup game, and are they undefeated so far in the cup? I think they are. And look, I don't know these things. You never really know how certain teams approach this kind of stuff. I just sort of feel like teams that really don't have championship aspirations, like the Suns, right? They would, let's give them something to root for. Let's give them something to strive for. They're 2-0. They're in the same division as grouping as the Thunder, so that's probably a loss on layaway. There is a what's it called? A wild card. So there's a chance, and they're plus 23 as far as their differential. I think they're gonna play really tight. Phoenix is the point. They're gonna want to try to grab this win more so. Like you always want to grab the win, but more so than other nights. And I can see Booker playing close to 40 minutes this evening. Suns Kings. What do you got?
Yeah, so you're definitely going to be playing a ton of Jordan Goodwin, at least on FanDuel at 4,700. I think on DraftKings, he's still a really strong play. I think you got to kind of have to look like he's still priced around that Reed Shepherd, and I prefer Reed Shepherd over him. But it's pretty darn close, and I prefer, like I said at the very beginning of the show, I prefer Jalen Brunson over Devin Booker. Straight up, especially if Brunson's going to be lower owned, which he's going to be. So while I do like Booker, there are plays that I prefer over him, especially if he's going to be this owned. So this game's kind of tricky for me because I think that I am kind of underweight what the market is telling me to do because they all project so well. I do like Mark Williams though. He is the chalky piece that I am for tonight at 5,700. I think he's a very, very safe floor play. I think he's definitely a cash game play, somebody that you could definitely consider for single entry. So I do like Mark Williams here a ton. Royce O'Neal, he's always kind of tricky, just because he's 5,100, and I know that Phoenix is kind of shorthanded tonight, but he's not a very attractive play to me, especially if he's going to be chalky. So I guess I'm just kind of underweight Phoenix tonight.
Yeah, Royce O'Neal, it's the same old story. Like, does he make his threes? If he makes his threes, he'll get there. If not, you're in a lot of trouble.
4,600 on FanDuel. Sorry, Dean, but 4,600 for Royce O'Neal. That's pretty good. So like on FanDuel, I could definitely see kind of just playing that same kind of deal with Jordan Goodwin. But like on DK, I feel like I'm going to be a little bit underweight here. And who I do kind of like here is Colin Gillespie. I think sometimes he can end up being sort of the forgotten guy. Tonight he is going to be somewhat popular, but 5,800 on FanDuel, I think is a pretty strong play here. So I do like Colin Gillespie, and he's only 6,300 on DK, so that's not bad. If you wanted to get off of some of these, who I think are going to be chalkier pieces of Phoenix, I think Colin Gillespie is super interesting.
Levine's been he was benched last game. I don't know if you saw that. He didn't close. They went into overtime as well. Chua would close there for Sacramento. I'm trying to think. Monk also closed, but he, there's rumors of him getting chipped out. There's rumors of Sacramento, for multiple players for what it's worth, but I don't think I'm going there. As far as Sacramento in general, I don't think I'm playing anybody on the Kings.
I'm not getting to any Kings.
Yeah. We saw a good game out of Keegan Murray, so that was nice to see. But, yeah. Tim, I know you got to jump out because we have you got to get all over the NHL stuff. We have TJ coming in. TJ's around. The official concoction of Crunch Time's not here, but we can have TJ at least take 30 seconds and pitch you what Spider-Man movie you can watch. So that's exciting.
Wow.
Let's go ahead and let's do it. Let's see if he can sell you. Let's bring in TJ Zwarych right now.
Hey guys.
Yeah. What's up?
I mean, I don't know necessarily that I'm going to pitch it to Tim. I don't know that it's Tim's thing. Tim's not a big fan of fun. The movies are pretty fun.
Doesn't like
and
fun.
so I don't know if they're necessarily his bag, but I was boasting in chat because it's a pretty impressive IP when they've made 10 Spider-Man movies in my lifetime and 8 of them are really good. So I was just touting in chat that the movies have done pretty well.
Noto joining the show as well. What's up, Noto?
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
We have a lot of questions for you.
Yeah.
As we say goodbye to Tim. Tim, you get out of here. Go do some hockey stuff.
All right.
Enjoy yourself. Have a
Good luck, guys. All right. Yep. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Noto, what's the best root beer?
Ooh. Marks.
Okay. And what's the best Thanksgiving movie?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
There it is. That's a good answer. There you go.
Watched that 2 nights ago, actually.
Did you? There you go. Is it hold up? I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, it was great. My significant other hadn't seen it yet, so yeah, she loved it.
Yeah, shout out to John Canny. And it's sad. It sneaks up with you. The ending's kind of sad. I don't want to. It's been long enough, but I don't want to spoil it. The ending's kind of sad, right? A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit of a Sixth Sense ending there.
Well, I mean, John Candy was there the entire time. He was in the movie. But all right, we still are waiting on. We got Kyle. We got Kyle jumping in just a second. TJ, I didn't even ask Tim. I failed to ask what his play of the nights. We call them plums around here. Who's breaking the slates? TJ, you're hosting, I presume. Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you need me, or shall I just step aside and get out of here? You and Noto can have a conversation, and I assume Kyle will be joining here momentarily.
Well, I was thinking you could hang out as long as you want, so I can still keep working on my player pool. But if you want to leave, that's fine. I guess.
Do you want to tell me how good the Raptors are for the next 17 minutes?
Really good, Dean. One of the best offensive teams in the league, getting close and into that top 10 on defense. That's a nice team. Jamal Shed and Mamu off the bench. It's time to start that Scotty Barnes Defensive Player of the Year agenda.
Ooh.
Time to start that Sandro Mamu Kelishvili Sixth Man of the Year agenda. We got lots of agendas going, but how you going, Derek? You got any big Thanksgiving plans tomorrow?
Yeah, going over to my sister-in-law's house should be a lot of fun. Don't have to do the long drive that I normally do this year, so yeah, it's good. What about you?
Just watching some football. It's not Thanksgiving here in Canada, so we're gonna have our NFL show tomorrow at 11:45 Eastern time, hour and 15 minutes before lock, and take you guys through some football plays. Hopefully, help you win some money. I don't think I'm going to do anything other than watch football and watch Stranger Things tomorrow. That's kind of the entirety of my plan. We got Kyle Murray joining us now. Kyle, how about you? Any fun Thanksgiving plans?
Yeah, I'm so excited for my plans. I was running a little bit late. Apologize for that. I'm actually going to the Lions game tomorrow, so that should be a fun one. Hopefully, they can bring home the win against the Packers.
Hell yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. But the people aren't here to have us talk about Thanksgiving. They're not here to have us talk about football. We'll do that later tomorrow. We'll do that tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time for the Pick 6 show. But right now, we're here to talk about some basketball. So, Noto, I'll throw it to you. Give me a 30,000-foot overview on this slate. We have like a lot of cheap value, but not a lot of good cheap value. There's just kind of like, I feel like 15 different players between 3 and 4K that you can roll out today, but I don't feel really good about any of them.
It's a great way to put it. Normally these big slates have a bunch of, obvious lock and load type of values. And then, you can kind of build your stars and scrubs lineups from there. This slate, yeah, there's a lot of 3K guys that could go off, but not a lot of 3K guys that I feel good about. So I'm kind of leaning towards the more balanced builds. We're obviously still waiting on some information. Giannis and SGA both being questionable. They end up being out. A lot opens up. So it's one of those slates where if we don't have that news by lock, I don't know. I'm probably not going to be playing a lot of players from the first game.
Kyle, how about you? How are you planning on attacking this one?
Yeah, pretty similar vibes here. I think the fact that there is some good value, but I don't think it pairs well with a ton of great spend up options. Obviously, you have Giannis and Shea, but both of those guys have some tags next to them. I think building a balanced build looks a little bit better for me in this one. There's a few guys in that 8 to 9K range that I like as spend, like, high upside guys to maybe compete with some of these top 2 spend ups. But so that, like I said, 8 to 9K range being so strong has me leaning towards that balanced build tonight.
Dylan Cease is the Blue Jay, baby. Love
wow.
that. Heck yeah.
Ooh.
7 years, $210 million. We got ourselves another ace.
That's not bad.
Borderline 4 aces going out there for the Blue Jays next year with Gaussman, Bieber, Yasavage, and Dylan Cease. So feeling good about my Blue Jays. Shout out to Mr. Irrelevant in chat for notifying me of that one. Heck yeah. Love that. Let's start going position by position here. We'll go DraftKings first, then we will go FanDuel, and then we'll start taking your questions. I'll go to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat first. I will go to the YouTube chat second. YouTube, all we ask is that you hit that like button for us. It's easy to do. You just take your mouse, slide it over, give it a little click. If you're watching on a tablet, you're watching on your phone, it's tougher. I apologize, but we still ask you to do it. It's free content. All you got to do is hit the X button, hit hide chat, hit that like button on your phone, on your tablet, whatever it is. It helps us out a ton. It's also a good time to remind you that, speaking of YouTube, while you're hitting that like button, you can just go a little bit lower in the description and you can find the link for our Black Friday sale. Users will receive the RotoGrinders Combo Pro plan for the price of a single sport for their first 3 months. That's $74.99 per month for the first 3. After 3 months, it will renew at the regular price. Offer is valid through December 2nd. So you got 1 week, a little less than 1 week, 6 days. You can get yourself the Black Friday sale, Combo Pro, all the sports for 3 months for the price of a single sport, $74.99. If you just want to play NBA DFS, but you're still relying on the box scores, you're already behind. Shot quality gives you the most predictive data in basketball, breaking down every single shot to show what should have gone in, not just what did. Right now, you can grab a free 3-day trial just by heading to the link in the show description. After that, it renews monthly for $39.99. Don't play blind. Play smart with shot quality. No, I'll throw it to you first. DraftKings point guard. Who's the cash game play, and who do you like in tournaments?
Yeah, so Amen Thompson's kind of my favorite point guard on the slate. Coming off of a game where he had a 28% usage rate. That was his second highest all season. We haven't projected to play 38 minutes, so you're going to see just a bunch of minutes with high usage. No Kevin Durant, no Eason. A couple of other guys are missing too. For cash games, I think Brunson firmly in play, a guy that just always seems to get 40 plus. No OG tonight for the Knicks. Pretty good matchup against Charlotte for him. The guy that I'm probably going to be underweight on is Devin Booker. He just hasn't shown a ton of upside, at least not for tournaments. He's been held under 52 fantasy points in 12 straight games. So he's kind of my underweight guy in tournaments. But I like Brunson, Thompson. Quickly is a good cash game option. A good matchup at home against Indy for him. No RJ Barrett. And then some other guys that I don't mind looking to. De'Aaron Fox coming off of a couple big games. Good matchup for him against Portland. The Indiana guys are kind of interesting in McConnell and Nembhard, but they're probably large field tournament plays. Then Jamal Shed, back to 3 games straight with at least 21 fantasy points, 3,800, pretty good price point there. If that game gets out of hand, I think it helps him more than anything. So if you're punting at point guard, I don't mind Shed.
Who do you prefer tonight between Shed and McConnell?
I don't know. I usually just go with the guy with the higher minute limit or minute projection. So I'd probably go Shed, but yeah, TJ can put it up quickly.
Kyle, how about you? DraftKings point guard. Who do you like?
Yeah, I like the breakdown that Notos had. I think I had the same thought about Booker earlier. Obviously, he's projecting really well for us, and the matchup is really solid. Sacramento's been a good scoring matchup. They increase efficiency across the board for scorers, but to Noto's point, the stealing hasn't really been there. And you have a couple of guys in this price range, especially if you get like a game where that Charlotte and Knicks game stays closer spread than maybe you would expect. But so I don't mind taking Brunson over Booker for a tournament option. Thompson looks good when you take Durant and Steven Adams off the floor. His rebounding and his assist numbers go up pretty significantly. So I do like Amen Thompson, who should play 37, 38 plus minutes tonight. Quickly, his scoring goes down with RJ Barrett off, but his assist numbers go way up. So if he can somehow find a good scoring night, we could easily see like a game where he has 18 and 10. So I like Quickly in this spot. I know Reed Shepherd burned everybody last time out, including myself, but he got played off of the floor just because Aaron Holiday was not missing a shot. So he only played 26 minutes. I wouldn't expect that here. as long as he remains in the starting lineup. So if we get him back in that 32+ minute range, I think he'll look for a pretty good bounce back spot. So he's on the board for me. I like the calls of both McConnell and Shed. I do think that's a tough one to decipher between those two. McConnell we have projected at 18 minutes. When I did the overnight upload last night, I had him at 20. He played 20 minutes last game. Or he played 22 minutes last game. So that was nice to see, encouraging, because he's been on a pretty significant limit. So if he can play 20+ minutes, I think he'd be something that looks pretty good, but the ownership might follow him there. So that's probably where I'm at. And then Aaron Holiday as a pivot, if you don't like either of those two guys, I do prefer Shed and McConnell over Holiday, but he's certainly a viable option with those guys out for Houston. I see benefits there.
All right, take the shooting guard.
Yeah, a little bit of carryover with some of the cheap guys, but at the top, Brandon Ingram's probably my favorite spend up. For me, I like all of these Toronto guys. It's more so just deciphering how I'm going to prioritize them. I think Scotty Barnes projects really well. Already talked about quickly. Brandon Ingram had a 41% usage rate last game with no RJ Barrett. That's probably not going to carry over every single game, but he's going to chuck it, and this matchup is elite. Pacers are top 7 in pace, bottom 7 in defensive efficiency, so Ingram projects really well. I mentioned Shepard. I didn't talk about Colin Gillespie. He's kind of priced out at this point, but I still don't hate him for tournaments if you're going with the balanced build. I do think he's still going to play 29, 30 minutes. But for me, it's kind of a fairly weak position, so I don't mind prioritizing Ingram and Shepard, and then after that, sort of punting with some of these guys. Okogie sort of fits that mold, especially if you're not playing Reed Shepard at 3.9. Okogie makes sense. And then if you're not playing Shed, Jacoby Walter there at 3.5 makes sense as a tournament option, again, in that really good matchup against the Pacers. And then you also have Aaron Holiday down there at 3.6 as point guard and shooting guard eligible.
My current cash game lineup that I'm throwing out there has all of Ingram, Quickly, and Barnes. Is that something you're all right with?
Yeah, I think all three of them it feels like a little stretch, but they all project so well, and I can't really doubt it because Barnes can easily go out there and grab 15 rebounds. Ingram can go out there and score 30 points, and Quickly can have 10 assists in the same game, and they all get there easily. So I don't mind it.
All right, Noto, how about you, shooting guard?
Yeah, that's not something I would normally do on an 8-game slate, but
yeah,
man, to this slate, it feels like it's a pretty good strategy. Then you don't have to choose between them. They're all kind of underpriced relative to their projection. So I actually don't mind that for cash games. I do like Ingram quite a bit. 30 shot attempts his last game, just massive. We can't expect that to happen again, but he does feel underpriced. A lot of the same names that we talked about. I do like Jordan Goodwin. A lot of people are going to be playing him over on FanDuel because he's 5K over there. But he's a point per minute type of guy. And he's been playing bigger minutes with all the guys out for Phoenix. They're without Allen, Green, and Dunn tonight. So I think Jordan Goodwin could be sneaky on DraftKings. Champagnie, back-to-back 30-point games for the Spurs. I think he could be interesting. They're more tournament plays for me. I think for cash games, you're probably just playing Brandon Ingram. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
All right, take me to small forward.
All right, so here, yeah, you can punt with the Okogie. I don't mind it. He's not a guy that's going to put up a lot, but at 3.9, he's probably not going to hurt you. Jabari Smith makes some sense too. He's a guy that historically has been pretty volatile because he relies so heavily on the three-pointer, but he's been pretty consistent lately. So I like him, especially with all the injuries to Houston. Keldon Johnson's got that high ceiling off the bench for the Spurs with no Wemby. When he's in there, he's just putting up, good per minute numbers. It's just sometimes his minutes are all over the map. Sadiq Bey's been starting for the Pelicans and playing really well. He's had at least 33 in 4 of his last 7. So I don't mind looking to him in tournaments. And then you got the Portland guys who are going to play big minutes against the Spurs, Jeremy Grant, Kamara. You play a good one here too. But yeah, there's no standout plays that I'm forcing into lineups tonight. It's kind of weird.
In reference to Kyle Okaji, who's projecting for a ton of ownership tonight, over 33%. I'm playing him in cash. I hit the X button in tournaments. That's kind of how I'm going about it tonight. Kyle, how about you? What do you like at small forward?
Yeah, I think that's more than reasonable. I think it kind of reminds me of Corey Kispert from last night, where he projects well because he's getting so many minutes and he's a good value, but not necessarily a good per minute guy. I know Kispert obviously left the game due to injury, so you don't want to expect that every night for when you're fading chalk. But Kobe could easily play 30 minutes and have 14 fantasy points. He's not necessarily the greatest per minute producer, but I'm getting to more of him than I probably would like to because this is just a very weak position, but it kind of leads me more into that balance build where if you're going to shift some things around, find a $1,500 extra dollars. You got Goodwin, Sadiq Bey in that range, and then a little bit more expensive than that, Jeremy Grant. I think is a nice high upside play. You probably need 25 plus real points from him here, but Drew Holiday's still out. Shaden Sharp questionable, so if he's out, that would also continue to help. We did just get news that Giannis is out, so that'll change up some things as well. And then Jabari Smith there at 6'2" as well, with no Kevin Durant and no Steven Adams, would help his usage and his rebounding numbers with both of those guys out.
Ryan Rollins in the if-then projection actually projects for more fantasy points than Amen Thompson in this scenario. Who do you like better now, Amen Thompson or Ryan Rollins?
They project similar for me, but I have Rollins for like 1.5 points more, so I'll take Rollins slightly.
Noto, how about you? You prefer Rollins or Amen Thompson tonight?
Man, I've been playing Rollins a ton. I'll probably play some of both, but I'll give the slight edge to Thompson.
All right, Kyle, take me to power forward.
One thing I will say about
did small forward, right?
Yeah, he did. I believe.
Yeah. Power forward, Kyle.
Well, the one thing I will say about Rollins versus Amen Thompson is if you do play Rollins, you might feel a little bit better about playing 2-3 additional Houston players. So that maybe that gives like the tiebreaker to me for Rollins. For power forward, you got Jay Huff down here at 3.7. He's been really productive when he's on the floor. But similar to what Noto was saying about Keldon Johnson, his minutes can kind of be. He can play 28 minutes. He can play 8 minutes. It's been very up and down for him because they have so many bodies and they have so many different rotations that they use. But that is a game environment that I do like. So Huff projects well. Royce O'Neal, Sadiq Bey, two guys here at the same price, 5-1, that are like low ceiling guys. I guess Bey is probably the higher ceiling of those two, but both project for pretty consistent minutes. So don't hate that there. And then up at the top, obviously you have Şengün, Karl Anthony Towns, who looks pretty good in this spot against Charlotte if you're not playing Brunson. You got Denny, who would project even better if Shaden Sharp is ultimately ruled out. Be curious to see what his ownership is if we get through some of these early games and then Shaden Sharp's ruled out, and then maybe you get him at a discounted ownership. And then Scotty Barnes, again, I loved him last time he was on the slate. No RJ Barrett, we see his rates across the board go up. His usage rate didn't really follow last time out, only a 20% usage rate, but historically his permanent scoring production has gone up. So he's a guy who I think has triple-double upside on this slate.
Noto, how about you? Who do you like power forward today?
Yeah, love Barnes, my favorite power forward for sure. Kyle was talking about his numbers going up across the board. He's actually averaging 26.5 actual points per 36 minutes without Barrett on the floor. So I took the over on his points prop tonight at 19.5. And 8.7 for a guy that can just fill up the stat sheet. Seems really good, especially in a nice matchup at home against Indy. I like Şengün, Avdia. I think they're both two of the better spends on the slate. Bobby Portis, now that Giannis is out, he hadn't topped 30 fantasy points in any game all season, and he's done it in 3 straight games without Giannis. So I think he's interesting. I'm typically on Team Portis over Kuzma, so I'll probably do that again tonight. And then don't mind Towns. Royce O'Neal, more of a FanDuel play for me, which we'll get to. Are you guys playing any Zion Williamson? He just hasn't been great since coming back.
All right, take me to center.
Are you guys playing any Zion?
I'm not going to do a ton of Zion just because of how much Scotty Barnes I'm getting. And I know they're like a little bit different in price. Zion's a little bit cheaper, but I do like Scotty Barnes just so much that I'm not getting as much Zion. And plus, don't see him playing any more than like 30 or 31 minutes. But he's certainly not a bad play.
Yeah, my bad. My brain was, I didn't realize you asked the question. My brain was so ready for just like the next thing I was supposed to say. I'm getting 5% in 150.
It's like I want to play somebody from the Pelicans because I love playing guys against Memphis, but I don't know who to play. Maybe just play Derek Queen. What happened last game? Did we ever figure out why he played?
Misi and Alvarado were both just playing incredible, and that's really all it was. Like the team was just doing way better with them on the floor.
I mean, yeah. So we played 9 minutes in the first half, and then didn't start the second half. Got 16 total.
Yeah, and when he came back in the second half, he had a stretch where he had like 9 DK points in like 2 minutes, and then he didn't play much in the fourth quarter, which is weird because he's been playing the entire fourth quarter all year.
Yeah, so he's an interesting bounce back guy. Doesn't look like
If you
he's going to
searched
be
his name that night on Twitter,
Oh god.
I was like looking through it. It was like
conspiracy
40
theories.
in a row talking about how the NBA is rigged for betting.
First time I bet this guy all season.
Yeah,
course he-
exactly.
course he
Exactly.
is.
So many of those.
And then they just start
Wow.
blaming Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier. Somehow they're involved.
Shout out Steve says he's got the OKC game on TV, and SGA is currently warming up with the team. But Noda, who do you like at center today?
Yeah, and for all those people that complain online, they know they can bet unders too, right? Like you can't just bet the overs. But yeah, center Şengün's probably my favorite spend up option. I really like Donovan Clingan. He's been awesome over the last 6 games. He's top 36 fantasy points 5 times. I know the minutes aren't quite where we want them to be, but the matchup against the Spurs much better without Wemby. So those are my 2 favorites. Again, I don't mind going to Derek Queen in tournaments. This guy was like 60% owned last slate, and now he's a little bit more expensive, but now he's projecting for 10% in a much better matchup. And then I don't remember how to say this guy's name. Mamu
Kelishvili.
Yeah, Mamu Kelishvili, but just Mamu.
Yeah.
20 plus minutes in 3 straight games, 30, 23, and 37 fantasy points during that stretch. I like him quite a bit too for tournaments.
I started when we talked about it at the beginning of the show, but Mamu Kelishvili, get your bets in now while the odds are good. That's gonna be 6th man of the year this year. Kyle, who do you like at center?
Yeah, that's a hot take right there. I did see that he's like one of the more efficient 3-point shooters in the league this year, which was surprising for me.
I think you can get Scotty Barnes defensive player of the year at like 60-1 right now too, and he's leading the league in stocks. And if Victor Wembanyama doesn't get 65 games, if he gets 65 games, it's his. It's done. It's over. But if he doesn't, that's a wide open race.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I like that call. I think for me at center, Clint Capella is projecting really well if you're looking to punt the position. Again, I think he's a guy whose range of outcomes in terms of minutes could be very wide, even though obviously Steven Adams is out, but they can just push Şengün down to the 5, and they can play without Clint Capella if they wanted to. I'm sure he'll probably play at least 14 minutes, but again, a lot of people projecting 17, 18 minutes across the industry. If he plays 14 or 15, might not have as much success there, but still does project well at 3K. Also worth noting the matchup is easily one that they could play some small ball. So some volatility there, but still projects well. Mark Williams is one of my favorite centers at 5'7". Great matchup here against Sacramento. Rebounding numbers have not been as good for him as a Sun compared to his career numbers, but still does project well in the spot. Noto mentioned Clingan, like that call quite a bit. His scoring and rebounding numbers have all been up over the past few weeks, which has been encouraging to see, and his minutes feel pretty consistent now. The Queen call, I think, is a great bounce back call. I mean, this is a spot where he was projecting for like 32 minutes last game, and because of that weird game last time out, a lot of people in the industry are coming down on his minutes, and rightfully so. You don't know what's going to happen here, but if this is a spot where he gets back to 32 minutes, it's a great spot for him. And then Zach Edey, I'll throw out there as well. Left last game with a migraine, I think it was officially determined as. Looks like he was good to go there. He was out there during warmups and shoot around, so he should be out there as well. And his numbers have looked pretty solid with John Morant off the floor with some nice permanent scoring increases there. So Zach Edey at 6'2" could be a nice tournament play here.
All right, let's make the pivot over to FanDuel. Kyle, you can start us off at the point guard position over there. Who do you got in cash? Who are your favorite tournament pivots?
Yeah, not too much different over here. Booker's a little bit cheaper.
Quite cheap over here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Rollins is 7.7, so he feels pretty good over there. Booker's also a little bit cheaper. De'Aaron Fox is also a little bit cheaper. Amin Thompson only 8.2, but you can also play him at shooting guard. So there's a lot of really good plays at the point guard position. Probably not a position I'm spending down at a ton, so not getting to a ton of guys like Shed and Shepard like I am on DraftKings, but still some fairly solid options. But I would say Ryan Rollins is probably the cash option with Amin Thompson as guys you can play at point guard or shooting guard, but those guys certainly lead the way for me.
Yeah, it feels pretty good to just start your lineup with the Ryan Rollins, Amin Thompson, Devin Booker, and just know you're kind of getting 120, 110 plus points with those guys, feeling pretty confident. Noto, how about you? Who do you like at point guard?
Yeah, Rollins, Booker, Thompson, probably your top 3 options here. For tournaments, Steph Curry at 5%. I'll always take a little bit of exposure to him. Even in tough matchups, he put up 64 plus in back-to-back matchups against the Spurs, put up 58 against the Magic. So I'm not too worried about the matchup against Houston for him, but I would only do that in large field stuff. I do think it's a good position to spend up. And Rollins is probably the lock and load play for me there.
All right, take us a shooting guard.
Yeah, a lot of the same names. You can play Rollins,
Devin Booker,
Thompson.
Ryan Rollins, I'm in Thompson.
And then you have Goodwin here too. Much cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. Again, we have him projected for 29 minutes. He's a point per minute guy, a fantasy point per minute guy, and then good matchup against Sacramento. So probably one of my favorite value plays over on FanDuel. Outside of that, I don't mind looking at Dylan Brooks. I know everyone hates him, but man, the dude's been really good this year, and they're missing 3 of their key wing players. So don't mind him as a pivot off of some of the other options. That's pretty much it for me, unless you're building a bunch of lineups.
Kyle, how about you? Who do you like at shooting guard? This is where the Okaji ownership looks extra gross to me.
Yeah, and also like it's just way easier to fade on FanDuel, in my opinion, because all these like spend up options, so like Rollins, Thompson, Booker, they're all pretty underpriced in my opinion. And then you can even throw De'Aaron Fox as point guard only over there. So there's a lot of guys who I think that they just project really well. I actually like the Brooks call. He's been scoring at a crazy clip. His usage has just been off the wall. 37 last game, 33 the game before that. So he is not shying away from any shots here. But for the most part, a lot of these names are the same that either we talked about at point guard or Noto mentioned. Goodwin, Okogie, Miles McBride, I don't mind. And obviously Rollins, Shepherd, or Rollins, Booker, and Amin Thompson as the spend ups. And then Shepherd, I don't mind, but again, I do prefer him more on DraftKings just with the way this slate's set up.
All right, small forward.
Yeah, Okogie's here as well. More options to fade that I think could make sense here. Royce O'Neal, Champagny, those guys both 4.5 and 4.6. Dylan Brooks at 6.1. Cedric Coward is a guy who has a pretty decent number for us. His scoring production is pretty solid with no John Morant, so he could be a potential tournament option that I don't mind here in the spot. A couple of mid-range guys, Jeremy Grant, and then I already mentioned Dylan Brooks, but the spend-ups here, you can play both Denny and Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram all at small forward or power forward. So definitely getting to at least one of those guys in the majority of my lineups. Keldon Johnson at 5.5, Josh Hart at 7.1. Usually prefer him more when Mitch Robinson is out just because his rebounding numbers go way up, but still think he's fine in this matchup against Charlotte. There's just probably some better plays for me that I prefer, so not getting to as much Josh Hart. But for me, a lot of those mid-range guys with Scotty Barnes highlighting it for me.
All right, Noto, how about you, small forward?
I think if I had to lock one guy tonight, it's probably going to be Scotty Barnes. But yeah, Royce O'Neal is a good price point over here, projected for 32 minutes. They just don't have a lot of bodies right now on the wing, so I think he's going to play a bunch. Avdia is here as well. I think it's like a tier of their own, those 3. And then I like Dylan Brooks. Brandon Ingram's probably going to come with lower ownership on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. If you are looking for exposure to the Memphis-New Orleans game, don't mind Cedric Coward for large field stuff. We've seen him top 35 plus fantasy points a bunch this season, and they're missing some guys too. So 5,500 at 12% ownership, don't mind it. Sadiq Bey is here too from that same game.
All right, power forward.
So again, you have Royce O'Neal, Scotty Barnes, Avdia. I think they're the top plays. You got Şengün here. Jaren Jackson just hasn't been great this season. I know he continues to project well, but he just hasn't flashed any ceiling, really. I'm looking through his game like he hasn't topped 40 fantasy points since last April. So not once this season he's had 40 fantasy points. I know he's only 6'8", but not a guy that I'm looking to get to tonight. Outside of the names we've talked about, Derek Queen's here again at 6'7". If he gets back to his usual 30 to 32 minutes and puts up 45, you're going to be kicking yourself for, fading him just because he had, one bad stint with the minutes.
Kyle, how about you? Who do you like power forward?
Yeah, the more we talk about it, the Queen play seems to make a lot of sense. I will say on FanDuel, you do have Jaren Jackson, just $100 more, who I do like quite a bit tonight. Obviously, with no Ja, obviously he's going to be more popular, maybe one of the more popular plays on the slate. But I think he's a great play. You got Bobby Portis here. Jeremy Grant also could be a potential tournament pivot at 6'4". obviously we've talked about a lot of these guys already with like O'Neal, Okogie, some of these guys in that 4 to 4.5 or maybe a little bit in the upper 4s range. One pivot that I do like in maybe like large field tournaments would be Jeremy Sohan. He's 4-1, one of those guys that he's probably only going to play 20 to 23 minutes at most, but he's a really good permanent producer. All of his rates go up with Wemby off the floor, and obviously Castle off the floor helps as well. So he's a guy at 4-1 I could see putting up one of those 1.3 fantasy point per minute plays and maybe getting in that 30-point range and really outscoring some of these other chalky, not as sexy permanent guys who are projecting for more minutes, but Sohan could beat him out just based on his efficiency.
All right, take it to center.
Yeah, a lot of these guys do carry over as well. Mark Williams here at 5'8", I like him quite a bit. Jaren Jackson, one guy that I didn't touch on at the power forward position, Draymond Green, I actually do like him as well. This just seems like one of those spots where we could, see 34 minutes for Draymond. Obviously, they are pretty careful with these Golden State guys at times. But in these sorts of spots, obviously you have the NBA Cup narrative, but also, just the close game narrative. I think this game has a 2.5 point spread. So this game's going to stay close, and obviously Golden State's going to want to win this game more than, a normal regular season game. This could be a spot where we see Draymond play 34 minutes. And obviously on FanDuel, he could, rack up some additional scoring with those stocks. So he's a guy that I do like quite a bit here at 5.5.
You got your questions in, get them into the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat, get them in the YouTube chat. Noto, who do you like at center today?
Yeah, what Kyle said. Let's get to some questions.
On the DraftKings front, I forgot to bring this up when we were doing it, but we did have a couple questions about it. What do you guys think of playing Capella and Şengün in the same lineup? I do have both of them in cash. I think I personally probably want to avoid them together in tournaments, but in a cash setting, I don't mind it at all.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine as well. I would agree. I probably don't love doing that in tournaments, but in cash, I think it's fine.
All right, let's start getting to some questions here. DK GPP in a 3 max. Would you rather have 2 shares of Klingon or Williams? Klingon or Williams, Kyle? Who do you hire on?
Guessing that's Mark Williams. I will say, I'll say Mark Williams slightly.
Noto, who do you like better tonight, Ryan Rollins or Trey Murphy in a tournament?
Murphy's interesting, but I like Rollins.
Same page for me as well. Scrolling up a little bit here. Did see we have a lot of questions before, so I want to make sure we get back to some of the early ones as well. Kyle, what do you think about De'Aaron Fox tonight for tournaments?
Yeah, I think he's a really good tournament play. I liked him last game, and he didn't really come through. Wasn't all that efficient scoring, and only had, I think, 3 assists, which not something I would typically expect from him. So, I think he is one of the main people that benefit with Wemby and Castle being out. So I think he's a really good tournament play, pivot off of a guy like Devin Booker.
Noto, in DK Cash, you want the Knicks combo of Brunson and Towns or Booker and Denny Avdia?
The second one's going to project a lot better, but I'm not playing a lot of Booker, so that's one's tough for me. But I'll go with Booker Avdia.
All right. 3,800 remaining on DraftKings forward. Kyle, who do you got there?
You said DraftKings?
Yeah.
I think Jay Huff is probably the guy that I prefer. He's the one projecting the best. And there's not really a ton of other options. So I'll go Jay Huff.
Agreed. Huff is the best option there by a pretty significant margin. If you wanted to get crazy, I think you could do the OKC Jalen Williams and hope for a blowout, but Huff the clear better option there. Noto, do you think Dylan Harper playing hurts Fox enough to care about, or can we roll him out anyway?
No, you can roll him out.
Rodney Brown asking, any thoughts on Brandon Miller, Kyle? He seems underpriced on FanDuel.
Yeah, just tough to get him on the slate. There's so many good plays that are just a little bit more expensive than him on FanDuel, especially because there's a few guys that we talked about that are just a little bit underpriced and not expecting a ton of minutes. Obviously, they're being pretty careful with those guys battling injuries and getting back from those. So we have him for 28 minutes. I think 30 is probably his max. So I'm probably not going to do him a ton here.
Noto, we got a Yahoo Cash question. Both of these guys are quite a bit cheaper over there than they are on FanDuel or DraftKings. You want AJ Mitchell or Colin Gillespie?
I mean, I guess it depends on SGA. We didn't talk about AJ Mitchell. I mean, he's a smash play if SGA ends up being out.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of just wait and see on that one.
The Gillespie's game starts a little bit later than that one as well, so you can put him in there for now. And then if we happen to get the SGA news out, switch him to the other option there, and you're feeling pretty good. Kyle, who do you like tonight at center on DraftKings in the 4 to 6K range?
Mark Williams, Donovan Clingan, Jakob Poeltl projects well as a guy who's maybe not getting talked about as much because there's a lot of really good plays from Toronto. If you're looking for a little bit of a cheaper option, you got Mamu there. That's probably the main cast of crew in that range.
All right, questions over here in Discord. FanDuel GPP, favorite low-owned spend-up, Noto?
FanDuel?
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. Yeah, we talked about Derek Fox. I like that. Or Steph Curry. I mean, probably not a single entry play, but Duke could get 60 at 5% ownership.
All right. Kyle, DK GPP, Jeremiah Fears or Dante DiVincenzo?
I'll take DDB there.
I see someone in chat saying that SGA is now doubtful, but I have not been able to verify that anywhere. So please don't put things in chat unless they are official. We only want the official stuff in the chat right now. And as of right now, I don't think that is official yet. The latest thing I have seen on him is that he is still warming up with the team. Noto, who you got breaking the slate tonight?
I'm going to go Derek Queen.
Derek Queen. Kyle, how about you? Yeah, actually, first, we got 9 minutes to lock and no more questions, so I need you to give me a reason.
For Queen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the dude's been balling. Look at the game log. He can get you 50. He was 60% owned last slate. And just because the coach didn't give him minutes, nobody wants to play him tonight. Great matchup for him, too, at home against Memphis. So, yeah, I think he's an interesting play for sure.
Kyle, how about you? Who you got breaking the slate tonight?
Yeah, I love that Queen call. I'm going to go with TJ McConnell. I think I'm also maybe trying to speak that into existence a bit because I think playing somebody on the other side with, a few Toronto guys makes a lot of sense. And McConnell's certainly my favorite from that game on the Pacers side. There are a couple other guys that you can sort of, chase in tournaments that do have some ceiling, like Mathurin, even Nembhard has a bit of a ceiling. His usage has been up lately. But from a price perspective, I know he's going to be a little bit popular, but McConnell, I do think, has that. If he plays 23 minutes, he could score 36 fantasy points pretty easily. He's done it, time and time again. So I'll go with TJ McConnell. I know it's a little bit chalkier, so maybe not as fun, but I'm going to go with him.
Still like it. Noto, Gillespie or Nembhard on GPP on DraftKings?
Yeah, I guess if you're playing a bunch of Toronto guys, don't mind Nembhard.
Zach Edey with a migraine is on track to play Wednesday. Kyle, who do you like better on FanDuel, Toumani Camara or Sadiq Bey?
I'll take Sadiq Bey.
We do like Derek Queen today, and so, Note, I'll throw this to you thinking I kind of know the answer based on Queen being your slate break in play, but what are your thoughts on Derek Queen or Con Knipple?
I mean, both great names, but I'll go with Derek Queen.
Agreed that I like Queen there in that spot, but I do want to say Con Knipple is, I think, a really good tournament play today. I don't think projections have fully caught up to how good of basketball that he's been playing yet. And that's not an us thing. That's just around the industry. He's just been playing way better recently, and he's young, so you don't know how long it's going to last, so you can't necessarily project it as a median. But I do really think he is a strong tournament play today. If I'm playing Brunson or if I'm playing Towns, I like the idea of throwing him in that lineup. Noto, what are your thoughts on Draymond Green tonight for tournaments?
Yeah, Kyle brought him up a little bit. I think he's interesting. I don't have any strong takes for or against him.
Kyle, what do you think about Devin Booker tonight for FanDuel Cash?
Yeah, I think for cash, he's good. I mean, we basically described him as a cash game play. I mean, Noto seemed to be in agreement there where he obviously projects well, but the ceiling hasn't really aligned compared to some other guys in that price range. So I think he makes a lot of sense on cash, especially on FanDuel, who's a little bit cheaper.
Makes sense. We just answered this one, Paul. Hauser, Gillespie, or Nemhard for GPP? It was, if you're playing a lot of Raptors, Nemhard. If not, you can play Gillespie. What are your thoughts on Triple J, considering Edie is in Noto?
Yeah, he's not in my player pool. Projects well, but just, again, he hasn't topped 40 fantasy points all year, so I'm not playing him.
Is the Rockets game a sneaky stack over the chalk Phoenix game? I don't think so. The Rockets are going to be very highly owned today, and I actually think the Rockets will be higher owned than Phoenix today. So I would definitely consider them chalk in that same tier. Kyle, outside of the SGA stuff, is there anything you're looking at from a late swap perspective tonight?
I mean, just the normal, if any chalk busts or in my lineup or vice versa, where if I have like a low owned play. But I do think, there are some potential pivot options. Like if you're playing, a guy like Devin Booker, maybe you need to catch up a bit. You have a couple pivots with guys like De'Aaron Fox, even Steph Curry as potential pivot options. I know maybe not always in the same price range, but certainly there as options if you need to catch up or vice versa. If you are ahead and maybe need to line yourself with the field a bit more, but usually it's going to be the first part of that equation.
Is Hollins at 7,700 on FanDuel a good play? Yes, we all love Hollins, especially on FanDuel tonight. What do you think? Yeah. I got to throw this one to Rollins, not Hollins. Sorry. Kyle, I'll throw this one to you since I've already asked a few Queen questions to Noto, but you want Derek Queen or Dylan Brooks tonight?
I mean, Brooks has been really good, but I'm going to go with Derek Queen there. I just think that, again, Noto's broken it down perfectly. It's one of those spots where he's been so good and people are scared off of his minutes because of one very strange scenario where typically you're not going to have a guy, unless there's an injury, not start in the second half. So there's a really good chance that the field as a whole is 5 to 6 minutes low on Derek Queen, which you typically don't get in NBA projections. So I'll go with Derek Queen there.
No, what do you think about Sadiq Bey tonight in a DraftKings tournament?
Yeah, dude's been balling. Good matchup. He's typically very volatile, so if he's like real popular, I wouldn't play him, but it doesn't look like he's going to be too highly owned.
Combo to make you work. Are you ready?
Yep.
I would make the person get more specific if we had lots of questions, but since we don't, I'm throwing it at you.
Okay.
Pick 3. Dylan Brooks, Jeremy Grant, Brandon Miller, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Jabari Smith.
I'm going with Brooks, Grant, Jabari Smith.
Good answer.
I like it. I think that would be the same ones that I would do also. Maybe not Grant if Sharp plays, but if Sharp's out, definitely Grant would be the one I would choose from that list. Falcons fan in Discord wants to know, Noto, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Nothing exciting. Love some mashed potatoes and gravy.
Good answer.
That's mine too. Whatever the potato dish is, like I'm Ukrainian, we'll have some pierogies sometimes, but whatever the potato dish is, whether it's pierogies, whether it's mashed potatoes and gravy, that's my number one as well. Kyle, are we making it 3 for 3?
Yep, 100%. Mashed potatoes with some gravy on it. I like to put corn on top of it and gravy, and that's the combo right there.
Man, I'm throwing the stuffing and the turkey in there too, and then just put the gravy all over top of it, eat it all together. Dean made a Thanksgiving food tier list the other day, and he had mashed potatoes 4th, which it was just absolutely unbelievable. Ham 1, mashed potatoes 4th. I felt I was shocked at what he was throwing out there. Kelvin Johnson or Tumani Kamara for FanDuel. Noto?
Kelvin just made my main DraftKings lineup, so I guess I'll go with him.
We got about a minute and a half left to lock. If you got any more questions, quickly get them into the RotoGrinders live stream Discord, get them into YouTube, and make sure you can get your lineups finalized here. Kyle, Avdia and Queen or Grant and Anthony Edwards?
I'm going with Denny and Queen there.
We will be back for some football content tomorrow morning, 11:45 Eastern time. Myself, Jordan Vanek, and Tim Tasteful Tides Buell will be breaking down the NFL Thanksgiving slate, so make sure you join us for that one. Plus, we got the Pick 6 show live tonight. Some say the best show in all of NFL DFS live, 8 p.m. tonight. Make sure you join us for that one. Noto, you got any love for Malik Monk tonight?
Not tonight.
Not somebody I considered as well. Queen or Keegan Murray, FanDuel GPP, Kyle?
Queen.
FanDuel Sadiq Bey or Cedric Coward, Noto?
I'll go Sadiq Bey, but I think they're both solid.
Some discussion whether or not Canada celebrates Thanksgiving. We do, just not tomorrow. It's not. We already had our Thanksgiving a month ago, so tomorrow I just get to talk about some football, watch some football, and watch some Stranger Things as well, since that comes out tonight in the damn Pick Six show, making me miss the premiere. But it's all right because I like hanging out with those guys. But I will be thinking about the Stranger Things premiere the whole time. A couple seconds left to lock. No more questions. Think we can get out of here. The biggest thing is you have to stay tuned for the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander news. So I think the last thing we will cover, we are expecting him to play. He was warming up with the team. But Kyle, if SGA is out, who are the OKC players you would be looking to target in his absence?
Yeah, Noto mentioned this a little bit earlier, but Mitchell would be a really strong play, just not priced up enough, even though he is still living on a little bit of that price bump from a month or so ago. But yeah, him, obviously Holmgren would look better as well. And then you could kind of make a case for like guys like Isaiah Joe. Maybe Caruso would project okay, but probably not a super high upside guy. I still wouldn't get too excited about Case on Wallace because he kind of just runs around there and hides in the corner until someone gets him an open three. But Mitchell would be the smash play there.
Noto, anybody else you want to consider outside of Mitchell? If we get SGA rolled out, would you be looking to play any Holmgren or any Wallace, Dort, Joe as salary savers?
Yeah, I don't think Dort's role changes much, but Case and Wallace, Isaiah Joe, Holmgren, all going to see nice boosts in usage.
All right, that'll do it. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's show. Like I said, stay tuned for the Pick Six show tonight. Stay tuned for NFL Pre-Lock tomorrow morning. On behalf of myself, Noto, Kyle, and Steve doing an incredible job behind the scenes. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We will see you next time.